On the bench today, we have a Technics SL23. Not working. I don't know what that means right now, so we will see what's going on with this one. Get this mess untangled here. Cover's in really bad shape, so assuming I can get this working, we'll buff that out, get that out of the way. There's a belt. Oh, the belt actually seems pretty good. If it's the right belt, I don't know. It literally came like this. So, oh, that's not good. That's rubbing pretty good. Nice. Good job. Got this off of eBay. I asked the person if they knew how to ship a turntable, and apparently they did not, because this spindle was crooked. So they left the platter on. They didn't detach it. Yeah. So we'll have to sort that out. I actually got into the habit on eBay of just telling them how to do it, because you can't trust that someone actually knows what they're doing. Because just throwing this in a box with some bubble wrap is not how you ship a turntable. Anyway, we'll get it sorted out. So I'm going to plug that in, see what this motor does. Nothing. That motor seems to be dead. Light comes on. Motor does not. Ooh, might have a bad motor. I don't think these have any fuses in them. Get my little Lazy Susan turntable for this. Hey, it's a Grado cartridge. The Grado stylus. Looks like it has a little bit of a tip to it, and it was not damaged by the platter flopping around the box. So that's potentially good. All right, let's open this up and see what's going on. Couple fuses here, so let's see if we have. Pretty dusty. I can't really tell if they both. This one, yeah, they both look to be intact, but let's see if they're actually any good. Pop these out. Guess I didn't really need that. Let's see. Got some tape residue on one of these probes. That's good. This one also appears to be good. Yeah, that one's good. All right, so potential issues with this. So the fuses, they test okay. I'd be curious to see what we have going on in terms of power to the switch. Let me see, where is the switch on this? Switches. I'm just getting my bearings here. Oh, here's the switch right here. So here's the switch. Let's see what's going on with this switch and this motor. Looks like we've got some stuff going on here with the motor. I'm looking for one of my little clips to clip this black lead to ground somewhere. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. See if I have. Yeah. Maybe not. I need to actually get the, try this. Here we go. All right, so here, this is ground. I got a better probe here. Okay. All right. So, let's see what we have in terms of voltages on this power supply board. Not sure what they're supposed to be. I'm just looking to see if there's anything here. Well, I know we had power because that light came on. All right, so we have 12 volts going to the motor, or going to, no, that goes to something else. The motor, red and white. All right, so all right, I'm gonna have to pull the schematic on this and see what's supposed to be happening. I'm just kind of curious as to so where all these things are going. All right. All right, so I'm going to forward through me fumbling through and trying. Well, I'm kind of an idiot, so I jumped right into, oh, it's got to be, you know, this, that, or the other thing. Well, here's the issue with this. This is not an automatic turntable. And what I was doing, I just started flipping switches on the underside, and I looked to see what this switch does, and this switch actually turns it on. So let's see what happens when I actually turn the turntable on. Now the motor is working. Man, glad I captured that on video. That's wonderful. You know, my disclaimer says don't do anything I do because, you know, there are reasons for that. So let's see what this actually does now. I will do a basic service on this. I'm just looking out I'm just checking on the spindle here. So let's throw this belt on. Turn the motor off. And let's see what happens. Still dragging. On this side here, I'm going to have to go underneath and figure out how to get that back to proper alignment. My mic cord is stuck in my shoe. That's wonderful. So this turntable is really dirty. I'll have to do quite a bit of cleaning up on this one. Let's see what happens. Then we'll do a sound check just to kind of get an idea of where we are on this one. Oh, you have the queuing lever. The top of that's broken off. It's not a big deal. So 33. Let's lift that, move this over. Let's check out the speed. The control pots need to be clean because they're jumping all over the place. So these are real dirty. Probably needs to be adjusted. Yeah, it's not maintaining proper speed at all. So we'll have to do that. Let's do a sound check. Not sure what is going on with this Grado. Shot a couple of videos where I did not figure out, oh man, it does not like this Grado cartridge, too heavy. Sure, make sure that's 0. Kind of doing a poor man's tracking setup just to get this in a spot where I can test it. I think 1.75, 1.8 is kind of a sweet spot for these Grados. The head shell is slightly bent. I need to see if I can fix that. So let's connect this to my test stereo. Make sure we are getting sound out of both channels. Some cheap K-Tel record. This is kind of my initial test record for these. Super scratchy. Phono on 33. Alright, let's see if we get sound. Sound, Tony Orlando. Alright. I don't think this is this auto return? I think this is auto return. Yep. Cool. And that function works, so that's awesome. All right, so I'm going to flip this over, check out the spindle, see if I can figure out what's bent underneath. It's sitting mostly level. So anyway, yeah, I'll tell you what I find here in hopefully just a couple minutes. I use this stuff called real butter. like fishing reel butter for most of these turntables. Put 2 or 3 drops down there, and I've never had an issue with this stuff, so stuff seems to work pretty good. Get that all right. Much better. So I cleaned the speed controls with some, it's not WD-40, it's WD-40 contact cleaner. Every time I grab this, I have to do a double take just to make sure. I don't have WD-40 anywhere near my bench, but this is their contact cleaner, and it actually works pretty good. Underneath, you know, and we may have to move these. Oh, let me get the screw in here first for the spindle. And it looks like the spindle is just kind of pressed into position. So I just have to kind of flex the spindle either way to get it to line up, because of the method of shipping this. Man, I don't know if you saw, I had to cut the epoxy that they use to hold this into position with a razor blade. It's either epoxy, it might just be grease that came through there. So that is in position, and it's moving free on the other side. So one thing you want to keep in mind on a lot of these turntables with speed controls. Now I hit these with the contact cleaner. I usually kind of flush them out with the WD-40, and then I put some fader lube in there. Right, one kind of cleans, and then this one kind of conditions, I guess. So spray this down in these speed control pots, and then we'll see what's going on with the speed. One thing you have to understand on these, though, is you actually have two sets of speed control variable resistors or potentiometers, right? So you have these two, the ones that you control from the top side, and then you also have these two on the motor control board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean these. I'm going to clean these, and then what I want to do is I want to have the speed controls on top in the middle, and then adjust these and get them close to where, right, it's dead on with the speed controls right in their center position. So I make it a habit usually of cleaning these. I don't know that I always catch it on video, or I have caught it on video, but if you have another set of these speed control pots, right, just spray them with a little bit of contact cleaner and adjust them. They're pretty particular on the size of the screwdriver, so you got to make sure you get the right size. If you have plastic, that's awesome. So these are kind of sitting, kind of at the 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Nope, that screwdriver's too small. Try this one. There we go. Because these will also suffer from oxidation. Get that back to where it was. Right, turn them, I don't know, 15, 20 times. Set them back to their original position. Like so. All right. I'm not going to put the bottom on this yet because there may be some other items to address down here. But right now I'm focused on speed. I know I have sound, so I'm going to disconnect that because that cord's kind of getting in the way. I actually got this turntable with a project in mind, so I don't know. I'm going to see if one of the shops is in need of a turntable, but if not, I have a something in mind for this one. I don't want to tell you what it is because, yeah, I may not do it. So let's throw the platter back on here with the belt. And these speed control pots on the top should be close to center. Now it's kind of tricky to get up underneath this and adjust those speed control pots. So what I typically do in that case is I will either slide the turntable kind of to the edge of my bench. Oh my gosh, this is so difficult. Move the turntable to the edge of my bench and get up from underneath, or I will put this on some blocks. That's still rubbing. Man, I really wish the person that shipped this would have done it correctly. Oh, there we go. That was the spot, and I'm just checking it from this side. This side is still low, so this side is still a little bit low. I may actually have to use a pair of pliers or something to bend that spindle shaft into position. So it's still off a little bit on this side, but at least it's no longer touching the table. Yeah, I'm going to have to grab my pliers and just very gingerly bend that a little bit. I want to protect that spindle shaft though. Cloth there just to, I don't want to mar that. Oops, I don't want to mar that. I just want to bend it like that. Just move it just a little bit. There we go. Let's see what that got us. And that is perfect. So I have an even gap underneath both sides of the platter. Right before this side was dragging. Now I've got even gap. At least to my eyes, it's an even gap on both sides. Now I didn't see any lube points on this motor. I could go into the motor and lube that, but just maybe I will I'm going to drop just a few little drops of oil. I don't know if this will make it down into there or not, but just this little bearing right here. There. That'll eventually work its way down there. That was one drop that I put down there. Alright, so let's see what's going on with the speed. I don't know if there's a good way to show you the speed. Yeah, let me move the camera. Alright, so let's try this camera angle. So hopefully you can see, it's really hard to see that fourth stripe down there on the bottom. Hopefully if I don't cast a shadow too badly, you'll see the speed. So let's see how close we are. Get my hand out of the way here. Try 33 first. 33. One thing I didn't do, I'm going to clean this speed control. I did not clean this one, and sometimes if this is bad, it'll be a little wonky. So let's do 33 first. It's the very bottom line. I've got the speed control set to center. And it is... There's still a little bit of a variation in it, but it's pretty close. And this was set just to center, so see how sensitive this is. So turn it faster, slower. Seems to be sitting there pretty good. I'm touching it, that's why it's floating a little bit. Man, if I just touch the knob, right there I'm touching it, and then it floats. So I'm going to do a little bit more cleaning of these controls. But at least I know my those center adjustment variable resistors, I won't need to touch those. So here's 45. And 45 is... .45 is way off. If I'm reading this correctly. Because the bottom two should be, this should be the second one from the bottom. There it's, yeah, I need to adjust that 45. So a little bit more work on the speed controls. Controls were clean. Speed selector switch is clean. Let's see what that got us. See if we got closer. That damn belt came off. All right. Power. It's set to 33. I need to turn off these lights because they're a little bright. I know you won't be able to see the speed most likely, but alright, so 33. Whoops. Alright, for some reason that was cycling like at the end of the record. Alright, that speed is much more consistent now, and 45 is much more consistent now too. In fact, it's 45 is in the center. I don't know if you can see that, but the strobe's not moving. I mean, it's doing a little bit of floating, but that's kind of normal with this turntable. Let's go back to 33, and it is locked on, floating just a little bit. You know what? 33 is off pretty good, so I'm gonna make sure I set both of these to the center, and I'm gonna adjust the pots underneath. All right, so let me turn this off, and I'm gonna go up underneath here and adjust those. Kind of the master, the main speed control setting. Both of those were adjusted to where now if I go to 33 or 45, these are in the center positions, and they are locked in pretty good. So always remember that second set of speed controls and to clean them, right? I don't know if you can see that strobe, but at 45 it's just almost dead on. A little bit of floating, but... And you know, with a turntable like this, I mean, you could recap the power supply really easily. I don't think I have any caps that would fit it. No, I don't have any caps like that. So, but you know, throw in a new capacitor in the power supply would be pretty simple to do. That would help with the speed control issues. In fact, you could recap, change everything on that power supply board in probably 15 or 20 minutes. I just don't have the capacitors to do this one. All right, so I'm gonna just kind of clean this up and polish the dust cover, and I'll speed through all that, and then we'll do a kind of a recap. All right, so I'm going to call the turntable done. I do have a little bit of minor, like, man, the dirt on this thing was crazy. Oh, and I do want to, oh yeah. I thought maybe the head, the tone arm head shell was misaligned, but it's flat, so that's fine. So the turntable itself is done. So I'm going to set this to the side and get to work on the dust cover. The dust cover cleaned up a little bit. Still pretty scratched, but you know, on a turntable like this, I mentioned it before, how far do you go, right, in trying to get this to look perfect? I mean, this is under harsh lighting. This is under kind of normal lighting, right? I mean, better than it was. Still see some kind of swirls in there, but what can you do other than spend all day on a dust cover for a turntable that's, you know, maybe going to fetch $125 on a good day? So I'm going to call this one done. Again, I'm not going to, yeah, for now it's done. Again, I had a project in mind for this one. After looking at this, I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. So if you see this one again, you'll know what I'm talking about. If not, this one's good, and it's going to go to one of the shops. So if you like what you see, hit like, hit subscribe, and until next time, see you later.